Have you ever paused to consider how one small misstep could reshape your entire life? For many older adults, a single fall can lead to weeks in the hospital, a grueling recovery, or, worst of all, the loss of the precious freedom to live independently. It's not as if falls announce themselves with blaring alarms or flashing lights. They sneak up quietly in the blink of an eye during the most ordinary moments like strolling to the mailbox, stepping out of bed, or reaching for a cup in the kitchen. But what if you could transform walking from a risky gamble into a confident stride? What if you could tap into time-tested elderly wisdom and practical advice for the elderly to stay steady, strong, and in control with every step you take? No need for fancy equipment, no expensive gym memberships, just simple, everyday changes that pack a powerful punch in keeping you safe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Long, a doctor with decades of experience dedicated to nurturing the health and happiness of seniors. My mission is to share elderly wisdom and advice for the elderly, empowering you to make your golden years vibrant, safe, and fulfilling. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's close to my heart: 6 walking techniques rooted in elderly wisdom that real seniors across the country are using to prevent falls and maintain their independence. These methods aren't just anecdotal. They're supported by physical therapists, aging experts, and years of clinical insights. They're so straightforward that you can start incorporating them into your daily routine right now, whether you're at home, in the park, or visiting your grandkids. By the end of this video, you won't just know these 6 techniques. You'll understand how they work, why they matter, and how they can transform the way you or your loved ones move through the world. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, or you're caring for someone who is, this advice for the elderly could be a lifeline to staying active and independent. These strategies, grounded in elderly wisdom, are designed to help you walk not with fear, but with confidence, maybe even adding a little pep to your step. So, stick with me until the end, because these tips can be the difference between a life of freedom and one limited by the fear of falling. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more elderly wisdom and advice for the elderly. I love making these videos interactive, so here's a fun challenge. If you find this video helpful, drop a 1 in the comments below. If it's not quite your vibe, drop a 0. Your feedback means the world and helps me create content that truly resonates with you and your needs. Ready to take the first step? Let's walk this path together with purpose and poise. Number 1, head position awareness. Let's kick things off with a technique that seems almost too simple but carries profound elderly wisdom: where you look when you walk. Your head position is like the captain of a ship. Where it points, your body follows. Many older adults, without even realizing it, develop a habit of constantly looking down at their feet while walking, thinking it's the safest way to avoid tripping over a crack or a stray toy left by a grandchild. But here's the surprising truth, backed by elderly wisdom: staring at the ground can actually increase your risk of falling. When your head tilts downward for too long, your shoulders round forward, your spine curves into a slouch, and your center of gravity shifts out of alignment. It's like trying to balance a stack of books while leaning forward. Everything starts to wobble. This misalignment doesn't just make you feel unsteady, it limits your ability to scan the path ahead. You might miss a bump, a slick patch of grass, or an uneven sidewalk, which could spell trouble. This advice for the elderly comes straight from physical therapists who advocate for what's called the forward gaze rule. Instead of gluing your eyes to the ground, keep them looking straight ahead, about 10 to 15 feet in front of you, for most of your walk. Glance down briefly only when necessary, like when you're approaching a step or a curb. This forward focus does wonders. It keeps your posture tall, your steps even, and your awareness razor sharp, allowing you to spot potential hazards before they become problems. Let me share a story about Harold, a 78-year-old former mechanic who cherished his daily walks through his quiet neighborhood. Over time, he started feeling unsteady, especially when walking downhill, and he chalked it up to getting old. But when he mentioned this to a movement specialist, they shared some elderly wisdom. His habit of watching his feet was throwing off his balance. Following this advice for the elderly, Harold began practicing walking with his eyes up and his chin gently lifted, as if he were admiring the trees or waving to a neighbor. At first, it felt strange, like he was defying gravity, but within a few weeks, something clicked. His stride became smoother, his body felt more in control, and he stopped tensing up with every step. That small adjustment, simply changing where he looked, gave him a newfound sense of stability. Elderly wisdom teaches us that keeping your head upright naturally stacks your spine, engages your core muscles, and improves your balance almost effortlessly. It's like giving your body a gentle nudge to stand tall and proud. Here's a quick tip to try this advice for the elderly at home. Next time you walk down a hallway, imagine a string gently pulling you upward from the top of your head. Pick a point on the wall ahead and focus on it, glancing down only when needed. If you find yourself staring at the ground more than the world around you, let this elderly wisdom be your wake-up call. Let your vision guide your steps, not your fear of falling. If you're excited to try this, drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're ready to look up and walk with confidence. Number 2, rediscover your arm rhythm. Moving on, let's explore another piece of elderly wisdom that's often overlooked: the role of your arms in walking. When we think about balance, our minds go straight to our legs and feet, but your arms are like your body's built-in stabilizers, acting as natural counterweights to keep you steady. Picture this: when your right leg steps forward, your left arm should swing forward too, and vice versa. This cross-body motion, deeply rooted in elderly wisdom, keeps your momentum balanced, your upper body stable, and your steps in harmony. It's like your body's conducting a symphony, with every part playing in sync to create a smooth, confident walk. Unfortunately, many older adults gradually stop using their arms when walking, and they might not even notice it's happening. Maybe it's due to shoulder stiffness from arthritis, carrying a bag or cane, or simply fear of falling that causes you to tense up. When you're anxious, your natural rhythm fades, and your balance takes a hit. This advice for the elderly highlights how important it is to keep those arms moving. Let me tell you about Miss Bernice, a 79-year-old retired teacher who faced this challenge head-on. After a fall, she started using a walking cane, but her balance kept getting worse. She visited a physical therapist who shared some elderly wisdom. Bernice's left arm wasn't swinging anymore because it was rigidly gripping the cane. With this advice for the elderly, she practiced alternating arm movements, using the cane with one hand while letting the other arm swing naturally. It took some getting used to, but after a few weeks, Bernice said walking felt lighter, almost like she was gliding. She felt more like her vibrant self again, full of energy and grace. Here's the advice for the elderly to put this into action. Keep your elbows soft, your hands relaxed, and let your arms swing naturally as you walk. You don't need to exaggerate it like you're marching in a parade. A calm, steady rhythm is perfect. If one arm is weaker or stiff, focus on moving the other. Even one swinging arm is better than none. To practice this elderly wisdom, try walking a short distance in your living room and notice if your arms are moving. If they're stuck to your sides like they're glued, gently start swinging them as if you're casually waving to a friend. This small change can make your steps feel smoother and more controlled. For an extra boost, imagine you're holding a small weight, like a water bottle, to engage your arms even more. If this tip resonates with you, drop a 2 in the comments, and let's keep striding forward. Number 3, focus on how your feet land. Now let's dive into a technique that's all about grounding yourself. Literally, thanks to elderly wisdom. The way your feet touch the ground might seem automatic, but it's a critical factor in your balance. Many older adults, without realizing it, start walking with flat feet or landing on their toes first, which can make them less stable and more prone to tripping. This advice for the elderly explains the ideal walking pattern. Your heels should gently meet the ground first, then the pressure rolls smoothly through the arch of your foot to your toes, which push you into the next step. This heel-to-toe motion isn't just about looking elegant. It absorbs shock, keeps your joints aligned, and prevents your toes from catching on uneven surfaces like rugs or sidewalks. Why does this natural pattern change as we age? Joint stiffness, old injuries, or fear of falling can lead you to avoid landing on your heels, resulting in a shuffling gait. But here's the catch. Shuffling actually increases your risk of tripping, which is the opposite of what you want. Elderly wisdom warns us that this subtle shift can have big consequences. Let me share the story of Leonard, a 74-year-old gardening enthusiast who loved tending his backyard roses. He started stumbling on his porch steps because he was barely lifting his feet, shuffling along out of caution. A physical therapist shared this advice for the elderly. Retrain your walk by starting each step with a deliberate heel touch, practicing while holding onto a kitchen counter for support. Leonard took it slow, focusing on one step at a time, and within a couple of weeks, he noticed a remarkable change. His legs felt stronger, his knees ached less, and he walked with more control, not speed, but precision. He even said his garden walks felt joyful again, like he was rediscovering his stride. Elderly wisdom teaches us that this heel-to-toe rhythm engages your calf muscles, aligns your hips, and makes your legs work as a cohesive team. It's like tuning an instrument. When everything's in sync, the music flows. To try this advice for the elderly, walk barefoot across a towel or soft rug at home and feel each part of your foot connect. Heel, arch toes. It might feel awkward at first, especially if you've been shuffling, but with practice, it becomes second nature. For extra support, try this near a wall or chair to build confidence. This elderly wisdom quietly reduces your fall risk while making every step feel purposeful. If you're ready to step with intention, drop a 3 in the comments, and let's keep moving. Number 4, the power of small steps. Next, let's explore a technique that's deceptively simple but packed with elderly wisdom: the power of small steps. When we were younger, long, confident strides felt natural, like we were conquering the world with every step. But as we age, those big steps can become a hidden hazard. When you reach too far forward with your lead foot, your weight shifts backward, throwing off your center of gravity and putting extra strain on your knees, hips, and lower back. It also slows your reaction time if you slip or trip on something unexpected, like a loose tile or a pet darting underfoot. This advice for the elderly flips the script. Shorter steps are your secret to staying centered and safe. Shorter steps keep your weight directly over your feet, making your movements more controlled and your reactions quicker. Your body stays grounded, much like a toddler learning to walk. Small, steady steps with arms out for balance. Elderly wisdom reminds us that stability always comes before speed, especially as we age. Let me tell you about Mr. Franklin, an 82-year-old retired postman who prided himself on his brisk walks. He thought long strides would keep him strong, but he started stumbling in familiar places, like his driveway. A local therapist shared this advice for the elderly: shorten your stride and slightly increase your step rhythm. Franklin practiced this new approach, counting his steps to keep them compact, and the results were striking. He hasn't fallen since, and he feels less tired because his muscles aren't constantly correcting his balance. He even joked, "I'm not racing anymore, but I'm winning at staying upright." To put this elderly wisdom into practice, try this simple exercise. Walk at your normal pace and count your steps over 10 seconds. Then walk again with slightly shorter steps and see if your step count increases. A higher count means you're moving with better control. If you use a cane or walker, this advice for the elderly still applies. Keep the device close, not far ahead, and take compact, steady steps. For an extra challenge, practice walking in a straight line, like you're on an imaginary tightrope, to hone your precision. This small tweak makes your walk feel solid and secure, like you're rooted to the ground. If you're excited to try smaller steps, drop a 4 in the comments, and let's keep going. Number 5, your core is your balance. Now let's tap into some powerful elderly wisdom about your core, the unsung hero of balance. Many people think walking safely is all about strong legs, but your core, which includes your abdominal, lower back, and hip muscles, is the real MVP. Think of your core as a natural support belt that keeps your spine upright, your posture strong, and your body steady as you move. When your core is weak, your legs and shoulders have to overcompensate, leading to slouching, tight muscles, and, yep, those dreaded stumbles. This advice for the elderly emphasizes that a strong core is your foundation for safe, confident walking. The good news? You don't need intense workouts or a gym membership to build core strength. Gentle, accessible exercises can make a world of difference, as elderly wisdom shows us. Try this simple move. Stand near a counter or chair for support, lift one foot a few inches off the ground, and hold for 5 seconds before switching sides. This small action wakes up your core muscles and trains your brain to focus on balance. Another easy trick is to tighten your belly slightly while walking, brushing your teeth, or even watching TV. Pull your belly button toward your spine for a few seconds, then release. It's subtle, but activates the right muscles without anyone noticing. Let me share the story of Mrs. Lillian, an 81-year-old who loved her morning walks but started feeling wobbly. She began incorporating these mini exercises shared as advice for the elderly while waiting for her tea to steep each morning. After a few weeks, she noticed a remarkable shift. Her walks felt steadier, and she stood taller, like her body had rediscovered its inner strength. She smiled and said, "It's like my body remembered how to hold itself up." This elderly wisdom proves that core strength isn't just for athletes or younger folks. It's a secret weapon for anyone who wants to move with control and grace. To make this advice for the elderly part of your routine, try doing these core exercises daily, even for just a minute or two. You can also practice standing tall while waiting in line or sitting up straight during meals to engage your core naturally. A strong core gives you the freedom to walk without fear, knowing your body is supported from the inside out. If you're ready to activate your core, drop a 5 in the comments. And let's move to our final technique. Number 6, awareness of floor patterns and transitions. Finally, let's explore a surprising cause of falls that elderly wisdom shines a light on: floor patterns and transitions. As we age, our ability to adjust to visual or physical changes, like a shift in floor texture, color, or lighting, slows just a bit. A new rug, glossy tile, or dim corner can confuse your sense of depth and footing, leading to a misstep in a heartbeat. These transitions, like moving from carpet to hardwood or stepping onto a staircase, change the sound, feel, and even temperature underfoot. If your attention drifts, even for a second, you might step wrong without knowing why. This advice for the elderly is about staying mindful to stay safe. Physical therapists recommend a powerful yet simple habit rooted in elderly wisdom. Quietly name the surface you're about to step onto. For example, say tile, rug, or step up as you move. It might sound quirky, but this cue sharpens your brain's focus and prepares your body for the change. Let me tell you about Peter, a 79-year-old widower from Minnesota who nearly slipped on a glossy hallway floor at his community center. After learning this advice for the elderly, he started silently calling out each surface change, carpet, tile, step, and found it kept him one step ahead. He said, "It's like my brain and feet are finally talking to each other." Elderly wisdom also warns about shiny floors, where reflections from lights can make flat surfaces look uneven, or bifocal glasses, which can distort depth on stairs or curbs. To practice this advice for the elderly, try walking through your home and naming each surface aloud: kitchen tile, living room carpet, bathroom rug. It feels odd at first, but builds awareness fast. For extra caution, ensure good lighting in transition areas and avoid cluttered floors. This elderly wisdom makes every step intentional, reducing fall risk with mindfulness. If you're ready to stay aware, drop a 6 in the comments. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this journey, let's reflect on the elderly wisdom we've uncovered. Aging can bring a quiet fear of falling, of losing control, or not rising again. But these 6 walking techniques, head position awareness, arm rhythm, heel-to-toe steps, shorter strides, core strength, and floor transition awareness, are your tools to reclaim confidence. They're not complex or out of reach. They're natural movements your body already knows, enhanced by advice for the elderly from experts and real seniors. Practice them consistently, and something beautiful happens. Your fall risk drops, your sense of control rises, and you walk not with fear, but with freedom. Which technique resonates most? Will you try it tomorrow? Share one insight you're taking away in the comments. Your words could inspire someone else. If this video helped, like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support keeps this elderly wisdom alive. Aging isn't about fragility. It's about strength, resilience, and every step forward as a quiet act of courage. What's one change you'll make this week? Comment below, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Keep walking strong.